Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special weekday wagers edition. We're looking at a little NHL Game 5 preview. And can't do this by myself. Robbie, how we doing, buddy?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. That was a hell of a game. Game 4 was another hell of a game. I mean, every time you think it can't get any better, they top it.
Let's jump right into it. Kind of curious. Again, we have another overtime game. What were some of the takeaways that you had from Game 4?
Man, I think you nailed it. If you watched our weekend wager show or weekday wager show today, Edmonton can play their game now because they don't have a suspect in goal. They have Calvin Pickard, who I still call part of Dumb and Dumber because I don't think he's that good, but he's good enough to where Edmonton can play their offense and do the things they want to do. That Florida's going to have to adjust. It's the momentum just keeps swinging. It's like a tug of war right now.
And now they're going. Game 5 is moving back to Edmonton on a fairly quick turnaround in comparison to the rest of the scheduling for the NHL Finals. It have just one day off instead of two in between games, so not as much recovery time that the players tend to get during these finals. But that was kind of my takeaway as well from Game 4. Excuse me, was just how much freer Edmonton looked when they came out for the second period with Pickard in goal. It just really, they looked, and they played smarter too. They weren't killing themselves with stupid penalties and creating opportunities for Florida to take advantage of. I really like the fact that this team is now looking like Edmonton the way that we expected Edmonton to look at the start of the series. I think this is going to be an exciting series. I think it goes 7 games. I think Florida still wins, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Speaking of watching, Game 5, what are you on?
Corey Perry, 2 shots on goal. Look, man, you can find this at ESPN Bet at plus 105. This one I put it in. Everywhere else, the smallest odds I saw were minus 125 to almost minus 150. And this isn't like FanDuel. If it goes to overtime and he gets his second shot on goal, you still cash. Corey Perry got moved to the 4th line. He didn't get a point, but he was still shooting the puck. I mean, I love this spot. I think he easily gets 2 shots on goal. I think he has now 7 or 8 games in a row where he has at least 2 shots on goal. So give me Corey Perry for plus money for just 2 shots on goal.
I really like that look. And you bring up a great point. If you're playing shots on goal markets, I think FanDuel is the only book that does that, right? Because I know BetMGM and DraftKings, it's the entire game, whether it goes into overtime or not. But FanDuel cuts it off after 60.
Correct.
Yeah. So be cautious with those plays on FanDuel. I am actually going to try something. And this is, look, I'm going to take the Panthers first period under at plus 120. And this is specifically a play on Calvin Pickard being in goal. I don't think we see Stuart Skinner on the ice again for Edmonton unless Calvin gets hurt. Okay? Unless he gets hurt, that's the only time Skinner's going to make it back on the ice for this series. Pickard has a 177 goal against average in this postseason. He has actually been really, really solid. He's unbeaten, by the way, in every game that he started for Edmonton or played for Edmonton and actually got the win. So he's undefeated for Edmonton. But more importantly, I think it's going to take the Florida Panthers a little while to figure out this new defense and offensive scheme that now Edmonton's throwing at them. And it's going to take that first period to do it, especially in Edmonton. I love this spot. Again, this is not a play that has anything to do with the Panthers. It is all about Edmonton and Calvin Pickard.
I love that look. And I'm not even an unders fan, but I really like that look. Now, Florida is, when they switch lines up, because I'm sure Paul Maurice is going to do some switching up to have to readjust the way Edmonton should be expected to play. But no, I really like that look. I think if you had to pick an under game, I think this is the one to target. I just don't see them scoring as much on Edmonton this time. It's really going to have to be you're going to have to stop them. You're going to have to get this to be like a 2-1, 3-2 type game if Florida wants to win.
No, I agree completely with you. And I think that, we were just doing our Friday weekday wagers show where we gave out our plays for this game as part of our weekend 12-pack of picks. I'm all over the under on this one. And again, this is a play. I am all in on Calvin Pickard and the way he's going to rejuvenate Edmonton. Now, that's not saying I think Edmonton wins the series. I don't. But I do think for at least this one game, he's going to provide – he already provided the spark in Game 4. I think in Game 5, it's time for him to solidify that and really start to bring things to a level where he can give Edmonton that game-up advantage for the series. You take out that first period last night. And
it was locked down.
Yeah, between both goalies, the under hits.
Yep.
So that's the entire reasoning behind my play for Saturday that we gave out earlier on the show. What were you gave out your plays? What were those?
So I gave out Ryan Nugent-Hopkins 1+ point. That was at -125 when I put it in. He looked better last night. He got a goal and assist. I think he knew he needed to step up his game, and he did. So now with the momentum back on Edmonton's side, them going home, I love Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to get streaky again, get on a hot streak. Then I did Carter Verhaeghe. The only reason why is he's not had a point. In the last 8 games versus Edmonton, he's had a point with like 2 or 3 multi-point games. So I'm just going to keep rolling with Carter. I think he's playing really well. He's still in that top line. So I'm going to take him. It's a point -130 is where I got that as well.
Yeah, I love both of those looks because I I think that as we're getting into that point in the Stanley Cup Finals where things start to tighten up. Okay, this is no longer a best-of-7 series. This is a best-of-3. And now all you have to do is you have to be the team to win 2 games out of the next 3 being played. I just think things start to tighten up as the pressure mounts and those winning opportunities are falling off to the wayside. I love that look. Carter has been consistent. He has been the keel to keep Florida balanced, so to speak. Yeah, love both those looks. What are you looking for? Go ahead.
What didn't you have? Did you give your other play? Because you had another play. You gave the under, correct, on weekday wagers? Yeah. You already covered that. Yeah.
The under 6.5 at -120. I love that spot. Again, for all the reasons we've talked about, but primarily because, again, you look at Game 4 and you take out that first period where Skinner gave up 3 goals, you now have a game that comes in under. You still have lots of goals. You still have lots of scoring, but it comes in under the 6.5. So I think we see something similar here, which is also why it kind of plays into my Florida first period under. I don't think Florida scores. I think that Edmonton is going to not give them the opportunities via penalties. I love both plays.
The only way that overhits is if Edmonton totally dominates and you see like a 6-1 game where they had that 8-1 game last year where they just came out and they dominated. That's the only way I see the overhitting is if it's all Edmonton. Because I don't think Florida, like you just said, I don't think they're going to get that many goals on Pickard.
Yeah, and if that does happen, it's going to end up like a Game 3 where we saw the 6-1 in Florida, where Florida got up big early, and then all hell broke loose with all the penalties, and that's where all the scoring happened. There is absolutely no reason Game 3 should have gone over either. None. None. It was all the fighting. It was all the penalty minutes. Created 5-on-2 opportunity or 5-on-3 opportunities. 2-man advantage. Yeah. It was ridiculous. So I love the under 6.5 on Saturday as well as the first period under for Florida. What is one of the things when you're getting, as you're settling down for this Game 5 and you're like, all right, here we go. What is something that you want to see from Edmonton that's going to be like, okay, they have a good chance of winning this series?
McDavid and Draisaitl. I think Soupy nailed it this morning when he said Draisaitl got, they didn't pick him to win the Hart Trophy. And I think that was completely wrong. I think he deserved the Hart Trophy. He's the one scoring the majority of the goals for Edmonton. I will probably have a Leon Draisaitl anytime goal scorer. I'm just going to wait for a boost or something, probably at the MGM 20% boost just to get that to go up a little bit. But it's Leon Draisaitl's now. Everybody said if Edmonton wins, it's McDavid's. You can't overlook Leon and how he's played in this series. He's got 2 overtime game-winning goals. Cashed that ticket last night, so that redeemed myself with Evan Rodriguez not getting a point. So It was watch for that too. If it goes to overtime, DraftKings has a either or. So I really loved Marchand or I really loved Draisaitl in overtime. You could get both at plus 500, either or to score. Leon's by himself was plus 750. So I'll take down some of those odds just to get either or. But if it goes to overtime, it's Leon and nobody else at this point.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask you to put on your Florida Panthers hat now and ask you the same question. What's the one thing that you're looking at from Florida to say, okay, they're going to sneak out a win here. They have a great chance to win the series back in Florida for Game 6.
Aaron Ekblad, he did not have a good game last night. He's got to step his game up defensively.
Interesting.
Defensively, they got to get back to when McDavid's hitting that blue line, you're hitting McDavid. You can't let him get loose because the minute he gets loose, they're going to score. And again, you got to stay out of the box. One of those goals was a power play. It was the Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Draisaitl line, and they beat them down. You got to be good. You got to stay out of the box, and you got to get back to just bullying them when they get to the blue line. So I expect more of that. You may see the heel Florida Panthers come out a little more in this game. You know, they're good at not getting caught, but now with Edmonton rolling, you may see a lot more cheap shots. You may see a lot more of that. If they do that, though, you better tighten up if you get on that PK.
I'm going to put you on the spot one more time because I was just thinking, if you like a first period, in fact, I'm going to give this out as a bonus play. For those of you that stuck around all the way to the very end, thank you. First of all, we appreciate the support. Go ahead, hit that like button. That really helps us as well. Second, as a little bonus, I'm going to take Florida to score the first goal in the first period, and that's at plus 115. I think, excuse me, not Florida. I'm on the Florida first period under. What am I doing? Edmonton. Nope. Edmonton to score the first goal in the first period at plus 115. Wow. You think I was out with you guys last night. I just think Edmonton comes out and they are going to look to put offensive pressure on. I was going to play Bobrovsky saves, but that number keeps bumping up. And really the only reason we have been hitting the goalie saves on Bobrovsky is because these games are going into overtime. Mm-hmm. You know, if it wasn't for the overtime, we wouldn't be hitting these overs. And so as the books keep pushing his line is now at 27.5. That's a little too high for me to play. I just don't trust it. If this game finishes in regulation, he's not going to get 28 saves in this game. If it goes into overtime, he'll probably get over 30, but it's not going to happen in regulation. I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, here's an added bonus since we're giving out bonus bets, and thank you for all who are still watching. Leon Draisaitl to score the first goal. BetMGM has that second chance. So if he doesn't get the first goal, but he gets the second, you get your bet back. Give me Leon Draisaitl. It's been right at plus 750, plus 800 in that range. I'm just going to keep sticking with the theme. So first goal scorer, Edmonton. First goal scorer, Leon Draisaitl as well.
I like it.
Give that out now. I'll be on that tomorrow.
There's nothing better than synergy bonus plays. So listen, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us in this Game 5 NHL Stanley Cup preview. We will be back for a Game 6 preview. Can't wait for that. Until then, take care of yourselves, be kind to one another, and let's cash these tickets. I did it again.